Hello, guys, gals, non binary pals. Welcome to another episode of GSC's Girl Pod. If you are watching this on YouTube, you may see that yes, there is three of us. However, our third may be a face that is familiar to you, but maybe not necessarily from Girl Pod. But before we get to our special guest, I'm also joined by V. V, how you doing?
I am very well. I'm more awake than the previous episode of Girl Pod that we just recorded. No, I'm very well, thank you. It's warm here, but it's not too warm, so I'm doing good. Thank you.
No, that is valid because it is warm here. It is 3 o'clock my time, which means the sun is now officially hitting the building, bringing in the heat. I am gonna try to keep the sound of the fan not on the mic, but I make no promises. Maybe there'll be some nice whooshing sounds occasionally as the fan swings this way. And we have our very special guest back on a podcast. Joining us is Harry. How you doing, Harry?
I'm good, thank you, Candy. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me on. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and obviously now that the news podcast is sunsetted and all the rest of it, and I had all this time, and I was honestly within like a week of doing that, of making that decision, I was like, oh no, what do I do? Like I want to be on a podcast. I need to talk about something. So yeah, it feels good to be on this. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, we throw the invite out there. We know you are a consummate professional. We're gonna have to break down that professional barrier just a little bit for you on this podcast.
Because we are not professionals at all.
Yeah, I hear about all sorts of things, from over the wall, they keep us segregated just in case.
I'm sure when I was on News Pod, I made sure to be as professional as possible, but now you have to do the reverse and be unprofessional. You get to let loose.
Be unruly, get a bit wild.
That is one way to put it.
That is unruly. Wild way possible, as the most unruly individual on a podcast.
Absolutely. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, second time, just hopefully not the last time, this is Girl Pod. But before we super dive in, if you're not already following the channel, please make sure to click that subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube and you click subscribe, you'll be able to see things like spoiler casts and interviews that are going to be going up. If you are listening on Spotify, come on over to the YouTube as well so you can check out those interviews and spoiler cast. And if that is not enough, because gamers need way more than just an hour and a half to 2 hours a week, please make sure to check out gamersocialclub.ca. That's the website that we write for. You will find editorials, guides, news, reviews written for gamers by gamers. And this is where I'm going to put Harry on the spot. Do you still remember the rigmarole?
The full rigmarole? Probably not the full rigmarole by now, but let me think. If I'm describing Gamer Social Club CA, which is a website that covers video game news, reviews, previews, editorials, guides, and interviews, and plenty of more things, including our very own GSC demo disc, a monthly article we put together covering over a dozen demos that we like to bring to you. A nostalgic trip down memory lane for those of us who grew up with demo discs. So yeah, you can check that sort of stuff out. Would you like more? I can do more.
What are the pillars?
Tell us the pillars. Let's see if you still got the
pillars. The pillars they chant. The four pillars of Gamer Social Club would be, oh gosh, do I have to remember them in order? No, okay. We are, number one, a independent kind of outlet, homegrown, as it were, grassroots, fueled by our own passion for video games and wanted to share that with all of you. Number two, any game that we review, we will roll credits on, and if we can't do that, we will play it as much as humanly possible, like those darned racing or sports games that just don't ever end. But yeah, before sharing anything like our scores, our impressions, our opinions, anything like that, we'll make sure to play it as much as we humanly can. Number three, we run all of our news through a rumor-free filter. We don't go visiting Reddit and that sort of thing, or the social media rumor mill. All of our news is sourced from a reliable source. and we keep it up to date as best we can and correct ourselves always as best we can. And finally, we have never used, we will not use, and do not currently use generative AI in any of our writing or any of the content that we create. So you can be sure that everything you get is human made. The amazing
still got
comparison
it.
is you rattle through things in such a nice kind of like streamlined sort of way, whilst I kind of, I don't know, I think I do like what would be referred to as more like the sort of like English charmingly befuddled approach to things, where it's just a lot of like, just like I get away with stumbling through stuff because everyone's just sort of
The
like, oh,
Hugh
being super
Grant,
nice about it.
like.
Yeah, very much like epitomized by Hugh Grant and like all his early films. It very much is that. It's just like, oh, he's bad at this, but like he seems sweet about it though. He seems endearing, you know. Yeah. So, yeah.
I don't know what you mean. He still got it. The
Ah,
guy
thank
still
you,
got it. He
thank
still
you.
got it. Join the Discord just to come in, and the first thing you should say is, Harry still got it. Tell him.
Well, no, it'd be fun to get on to more podcasts, but yeah, I'm glad to be here for this one. Definitely, be good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Since you are our guest today, tell us, what are you drinking?
Yeah, so unfortunately, you won't be able to see it exactly, but in this mug I'm holding in my hands for all of you, it is a coffee with Baileys instead of anything else in it. So I'm enjoying what I guess you'd call a poor man's Irish coffee, essentially.
I don't know. Bailey's is expensive. Like,
It is.
Yeah.
I tell you what, yeah, oof, yeah. Walked in hoping to see that yellow label with a nice discount, but no, full price today. So I was like, oh, all right, here we go. Anyway,
Standard Baileys or any of the fancy flavors?
going for the classic. When was a classic? There was another one there, but I can't remember which one it was. May have been the white chocolate. I think it was. Yeah, 'cause it's the white
Ooh.
bottle, isn't it? Which is lovely. Really nice. Is it a white bottle?
there is one with a white bottle, but that's the almond milk one. The white
Oh,
chocolate one has a dark blue bottle.
Then it was the almond milk one. Funny enough. in that
Although
case,
I think they also do strawberries and cream. I'm saying do they as if I should not know this. But
check the
I think
stock.
check the staff shop. I'm pretty sure they do a strawberries and cream as well. That might be in a white
Mhm.
bottle.
Mm,
But yeah, the white chocolate one I know is in a dark blue bottle,
okay.
and they only sell it
Baileys-
in a 50cl. Like,
Bailey's, I feel like, is one of those that rarely misses. for
Yeah.
me, at least. And I don't know how popular it is over in the States.
so
you know,
popular.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty
I'd assume
popular. We don't get as many of the like flavors though.
That's not true. That is not true.
No. No, because there's the one that you've talked about that is the chocolate orange one. We don't get that one.
Yeah,
Mm, yeah.
but the
And
US
I would
gets
love that one.
more. But
I would
the
love
US
that one,
does
but we
get
don't get it.
more limited edition flavors than
Oh,
any other
limited
country.
edition, yeah. We do
Yeah,
get a lot of
yeah.
limited edition, but then when they're gone, they're gone. And I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Because
Yeah.
why?
correct me if, again, V, you'll know obviously, but like the chocolate orange one, is that one that is linked to like Terry's, the chocolate orange?
Mhm.
Yeah. So again, that's like I mean, is Terry's a big thing in the States, or is that going to be something that's much more? Yeah, I guess that's why that one was
Yeah.
probably not one that crossed over, is because they're just like, you guys don't know what Terry's chocolate oranges are.
I mean, some of
It
us
doesn't
do.
really land.
Some,
Well, yeah, you
some
know,
of us
it's
do.
only-
I think it's because I'm in New York and I'm not, obviously I've said I'm in New York. We have, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, we have so many like expats that come and like create like their bubbles
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah,
So, so like we have a shop that we go to when we want to pick up things specifically from the UK. And like there you can find, the chocolate orange, but they're just like a shop. They don't really sell liquor. So I'm not going to be able to find that Bailey's flavor there, but I'll be able to find lots of different nice treats. And so, like, that's one of those things where I'm like, come on, like, just give us a little bit, or at least to certain locations, right? Like, in the places that are right by big cities, those flavors
Yeah.
would sell, like 100%. Now I understand middle of nowhere may not sell, but all of the expats that are here, I'm sure would love to get their hands on Terry's chocolate orange flavored Baileys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And again, like, sorry, V, go.
No, I was just saying, currently in the US, there are 12 different iterations of Bailey's, which is so
Not
much higher than anyone else.
Not
So
enough.
there's strawberries and cream, the
Mhm.
deliciously light, which is the low cal Bailey's. You have apple pie, colada,
Ooh.
so like pina colada flavored Baileys, vanilla mint shake, which sounds dreadful.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
S'mores, espresso cream original, coffee toffee, which sounds great, that's made with oat milk, churros, cinnamon churros, cookies and cream, and chocolate. So I don't want to hear you guys don't get enough Baileys.
We
You get
don't
all
get
the
enough.
good Baileys. Like...
V, I'm American. We want everything in excess. 12 is not enough.
Okay,
That's good.
I'll talk to the Baileys guys. I'll be like, my friend Candy demands that you send Terry's chocolate orange
Yes.
Baileys specifically to New York. Like...
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me tell
Again,
you where
do you
the
think-
expats are so that you know where to send it to these specific shops, okay? The fact that they are now expanding to another, like, so the place, I don't want to say the name of the place because I don't want to dox myself
Yeah.
too much, but
Mm.
they have, like, they do have a bar and they have
Oh.
a shop where you can buy all the things, and they're opening up a third place because the demand is so high. So if they can continue to expand, so can the Bailey's flavors that we get here.
Yeah, that's
Looking
fair.
at
The market is here. I promise.
Looking at the UK flavors at the moment, the white one you will have seen in the shop today, Harry, is Bailey's birthday cake flavor.
Oh wow. Okay. Damn.
I would
okay,
love a
and the
birthday
stout.
cake flavor. Are you kidding me?
So you get original chocolate, white chocolate with raspberry, Terry's chocolate orange, toffee popcorn, which we never have in the staff shop, because that's the one I want. Espresso cream, salted caramel, and Bailey's birthday cake. So we have less. Like,
But you have
Bailey's
better
birthday cake,
options.
and I want apple pie one. That I would be very happy.
that's
to try
America
that.
only.
Yeah,
I could ask the Bailey's guys
As
if
American
we
as
have
apple
any.
pie. Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, Bailey's guys, do you have any? Do you have any just sitting that you could send to my office? Thank you. Like,
I want you to know that I am literally in the Big Apple and I've never seen this apple flavor. I feel lied to. I am literally in New York. We are the Big Apple. Where is this apple flavor?
this is not my fault.
I feel
You gotta
lied
tell the
to.
Bailey's guy.
It's not the Bailey's guy's fault either. Like, talk to your grocery store.
I feel lied to, okay? Where are they
This is a-
hiding
this
it?
is Take it up with Mamdani. You'll get it sorted.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's only New York
it.
City. I'm not in the city.
Oh,
Ugh.
You
Damn
could get there. Like,
I could very very easily, but I don't know how safe it is right now. If it's not safe for Elmo, it might not be safe for me.
oh no. Yeah.
Give it a couple of weeks, and
Give
then
it
you can go on a pilgrimage for apple pie Baileys.
Be like, I need to know. I need to know if this is good, okay?
I feel like I've tasted the apple pie one. I feel like it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Definitely want to hear about it. Yeah.
I also want a birthday cake one. I love birthday cake, everything flavored. Like, what?
They used to do a red velvet one that was American only, but that was delicious. I did try that, and they were going to introduce a black sesame one that I got to try on like a what would it be called? A research day. I
Mhm.
get to drink a lot of Baileys. And that was delicious, but it never made it to market. I was very sad about that because I was like, I would have drank so much of that.
I can see how that'd be a harder sell, though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can see that.
It tasted more like peanut butter than anything else, which is why I wanted it. I was like, give it to me. How they've not done a peanut butter Baileys yet, I have no fucking idea. Like,
Yeah, what's wrong?
give me
with
peanut
them?
butter Baileys. What is wrong with
They
you?
not done
Give it
that?
to me. Yeah, no.
We
have
have
not.
like, because there's also, I don't know if you have it out there, but I do not really like whiskey, but there is a peanut butter whiskey called Screwball, and I will drink that. It is so
I've never
good.
heard of that.
No. I haven't
Is this
heard
an
of that.
American whiskey?
I have no idea, because again, I'm not like in the know of whiskey.
No. Yeah. It's not your ballpark.
Yeah, we went to years ago, around the time things started opening up after the pandemic, and we started meeting people who we had met through streaming. We went to this guy's place, and he was like, "Oh, do you want to try this?" And I was like, "I don't do whiskey." He's like, "No. Like, he's like, I don't really do whiskey either, but I promise you, if you like peanut butter, you will try this." And I tried it, and I was like, "Yo, hold up. Have I been wrong about whiskey this whole time? No, my taste buds still don't like whiskey, but they
just
love
wants
screwball
peanut
whiskey.
It just wants peanut butter. Okay.
No, I was right. Whiskey's
That was
bad. It's the
Whiskey's
peanut
bad,
butter.
unless it has peanut butter in it.
Yeah, my taste buds were like, no, not whiskey, but that whiskey.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, this is a Californian whiskey apparently.
Mm.
Okay.
Peanut butter whiskey,
Yeah.
which I would try because I love peanut butter. I'm not. If I'm drinking whiskey, I generally drink Scotch, but that's because I'm biased and because it's fucking everywhere.
Yeah. I feel like that though, with like doing a Reese's peanut butter chocolate Baileys. Like that
Yeah.
would be like such a brilliant collab
Mhm.
to have. Like that would work so well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll talk to Bailey's guys. I'll be like,
Again.
Bailey.
Bailey's guy. I have
Bailey's
a
guy.
name.
But they need to send
Come
it to everybody on Girl Pod so that we can introduce it.
Yeah, we can get a sponsor. I don't know if I am allowed to take a sponsor from Bailey's.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
It will
Okay,
have
fine.
to be.
We will make
It'll
sure
have to
that
be an
you...
episode that I am not here.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. The massive conflict of interest.
You're being sponsored by it. I'm like, okay, I'm not here for the day. Like, I'm in the house by myself drinking peanut butter Baileys. Like,
We'll have a special episode of Girl Pod, and maybe it'll just be me and Harry being like, so this
Bailey's
Yeah.
this
flavors.
Bailey's flavor.
Yeah. Just yes. Just tasting different Baileys.
Yeah, right. I mean, I would love to do like just
No.
let me just taste these different flavors of things and rank them. Absolutely.
Mm,
yeah,
mhm.
Nothing will
I'd
get
be
done
up for that as long as it wasn't sponsored. Like,
That's fine. That's fine. Maybe you can be sponsored by the beverage that you're having now.
oh, I would love to be sponsored by Jubel, my beloved. Like, so I drink this quite a lot on Girl Pod. It is quite possibly my favorite beer currently. It is a peach beer. It just tastes like juice. It just tastes like delicious peach juice. And they have a 10, no, well, they had an 8-pack in Sainsbury's. Jubel does different flavors. So they have a lemon, they have a blood orange, they have a mango, and they have a peach. The peach is the best one. But I don't know if it's because I had bought so many of the multi-packs of the flavoured Jubels. Sainsbury's and Sterling now do a 10-pack of the peach. So I'm like, yeah. Like, I got 2 bags with no food, only Jubels. And I'm like walking back from the supermarket so I can stock my fridge full of Jubels. Like,
in the meeting room back at the HQ, and they're like, "We have this weird spike in the graph here. It's Sterling for the peach Jubel."
That about?
I don't
Why is
know.
that?
there is only one bar in Sterling that has it on draft. However, it's also the cheapest bar in Sterling. So I'm like, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. It's at the top of a very large hill though. So it's like, do I want to walk up the hill for Jubel? Depends. Depends on the day.
But, you walk off all of the anything else that you've eaten today, and then you fill up your stomach again with Jubel.
Delicious,
Fine.
delicious Jubel. That's very true.
It's a balancing act,
And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's at the top of a very big hill, but I live in Scotland, everything's at the top of a very big hill. Like,
Mhm.
like-
And then think about how easy that walk back will be when you have to go downhill.
yeah, no, it's quite a fun hill to run down, although you have to be careful because it's quite steep. Like,
See, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. See, I have no like big thing to say about mine because I still am on my soju kick, so I'm again drinking the green grape.
Mm.
This is the
we could get a sponsorship for soju though, because I love.
oh my
soju.
god, I
Like,
absolutely would love one, especially the different flavors. I like the strawberry one. I like the green grape. I like the apple one. I would definitely try so many more of the Jinro flavors. They're just delicious. And I was saying this before the podcast. I was unfortunately a little bit ill earlier this week. But soju is the first drink that I am having. And it is sitting wonderfully in the stomach. It is not making me feel sick, and I feel lovely. So soju for
Yeah.
the win.
Yay!
Yay! Clear booze will do it every time.
Yeah. And you'll be
Yeah,
less hungover. Like,
It's true. It's, nice. It's clean. It's good,
See?
clean booze, isn't it? That.
as much as booze can be, yes.
Yeah, as much as it can
with it,
be.
with it. Yeah.
Within
In the grand
reason.
scheme of things, less so, but
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, it's been a few days. I feel better. We're good.
Yeah.
We're hanging out. We're having this lovely podcast recording, and we're enjoying it with our beverage of choice. This happens to be my beverage of choice.
It is.
I also have mead that I thought about, but I was like, the mead might be a little too much. Too many flavors, too much will keep it
Stick
nice
to the
and
sushi.
simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stick to something simple. So that's where we are. But, if Jinro wants to sponsor us, absolutely. I will try all the different flavors.
I'll take
Yeah.
any of your flavors. I'll take any of them.
I'm up for that. I've not really tried much soju. Like again, I don't know if it's. I mean, you could tell me if it's different for you, but like I find that it's like growing over here in the UK, but it's not. It doesn't seem to be nearly as popular as it is in the States. It really seems to have taken off in a big way in the States. A lot of people, I feel like, are into it as a drink, as a regular drink going
Yeah.
out to have.
I feel like only in the last maybe 3 or 4 years. It's interesting
Yeah.
because I feel like, especially pre-pandemic, and it might just be because of the way things come in waves. It was like sushi, sake was like having its like moment where people were a little bit more open to it.
Mhm.
And maybe it's because K-pop has come around. I honestly don't know what it is, but it's like maybe with like K-pop being so big and then all these other things exploding, people are just more apt to try different things from those cultures. Because now by me, there's like hot pot places that are like Korean hot pot places that are popping
Yeah.
up all over the place, like restaurants that are popping up more. So I'm like, this feels so in line with K-pop on the rise. So
I completely agree.
yeah, so
Yeah,
now we
yeah.
have more flavors like that, or not even just more flavors, more beverages like this in general. And it's funny because now what I see is I don't see as much sake, like when I go to the liquor store and stuff like that. But what I see a rise of is like the Japanese whiskeys. So it's almost like sakes were the entry level sort of drinks. And now people have grown up or gotten more refined taste, and I use that term loosely, right? So now it's like the whiskeys that you would
Yep.
sip on and not necessarily chug in the same way you could with sake. And now soju has come in and taken that place, which is really interesting, I think.
Yeah, I think as well, even in the UK, there's, and I think probably a lot of it is not just K-pop, but just like loads of viral food videos and stuff like that on
Mhm.
YouTube and Instagram, like people doing mukbangs, like the bulldog noodles. You can get bulldog noodles everywhere in the UK now. Like, and there's a lot more Korean restaurants. I mean, Stirling is barely a city. It is a city. It was made the city by the Queen, like in one of her jubilees, because it's like historically this has a lot of stuff going for it, but there's like, I don't know, 10 people that live here or something. Like even we have a like a Korean fried chicken shop in the middle of town. They don't do soju because they don't have a license,
So,
like
mhm.
so
Yeah,
to sell alcohol. But yeah, it's like there's loads of Korean restaurants in Glasgow. There's one called Bibimbap that does fantastic Korean fried chicken, and they do all the flavors of soju. Like they have the general soju there is a favorite. I do like going there. But yeah, I think it's just like, as you say, like Korean stuff, food, music, like everything is now in the zeitgeist. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, get all this stuff in. Like,
Now's the time.
I feel like again, there's definitely something to be said about like the timeline of when all these things happened. But like with obviously the sort of pandemic, it kind of allowed this. It created, I think, like a little bit of a pocket for people where there's like we have so much more time now to
Mhm.
spend doing things. On our own in particular, like you can amuse yourself with all this other stuff now, and guess what comes along? It's things like the Squid Game show on Netflix and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's BTS, the K-pop group, literally like took the world by storm in a
Yeah.
way that like they herald this mug I'm drinking out of is a BTS mug. My family got really into them. My mum got really into BTS as a thing, like during the lockdowns and stuff like that. And my kids grew up listening to them. They know the song, the like they know half the lyrics to their songs and stuff like that. And then we've got teddy bears of like the cartoon characters they created for like the little mini YouTube videos they put up. And this was it. Like it was the proliferation of the stuff that really obviously was such a big thing. And whilst some of it was definitely like misunderstood, as it were, or at least hijacked in a way, like the Squid Game stuff, a huge statement on capitalism and like Korean culture and stuff like that. And they just go, hey, let's serialize this shit and make video games out of it. And it's like, oh, okay, so we didn't understand the message. Okay.
Nope.
Let's
never mind.
do a Beast
Never mind.
Games.
Yeah.
Like...
Never mind. But then like you do have other things where obviously like K-pop is now like, and generally I think Korean music, Korean dramas obviously have been a thing for a while, but like now in particular they're seen alongside a lot of the stuff you're seeing as like your regular like material that you'd enjoy on TV, whether it's reality stuff or dramas or comedies or something like that.
Yeah,
and so I think
even when we think about like things that have like blown up, I mean obviously there's like K-pop Demon Hunters, which blew up, but when we talk about one of the biggest like anime from the last couple years, Solo Leveling started as a Korean like webtoon, right? That is, even though like we call it an anime, like that's not where the origin came from. So it's like when you're thinking cool. Right, yeah, so it's like when you're thinking about all these things, it's like, oh no, it has really proliferated a lot more than people like really give it credit for. Even when we don't always, even when the common like person who maybe is not as much into anime or into these things like is seeing it, it's like, oh no, it's out there. What's the other one? Is Crimson Desert made by Korean developers? Because I know they're right.
Yeah, Pearl Abyss. Yeah. The developer, I think, and are they the publisher, or are they like NetEase, I think, or something like that? Might be the publisher. I'm not sure.
Can't remember. Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure on that, but it's definitely Pearl Abyss are the developer, and they did Black Desert, which was the MMO before that. And yeah, they've really sort of taken off. Stellar Blade with Shift Up.
Yep.
Of course.
Liza P is
Liza P. Yeah.
Round 8, the name of the studio. I can't remember.
Yeah. And again, like we're seeing, alongside again, like more from, in particular in gaming, you're getting a lot more, I think, from a wider variety of nations at the end of the day, and some of that is, I think, helped by certain platforms doing projects like you've got the Hero Project stuff with PlayStation, and then got stuff in China and India and all sorts of things. So it's really cool to see all this other source material. And then excuse me, going back to what you're saying about Solo Leveling, Candy, it's fascinating to learn like the origins of this stuff, because so often you just assume it's like, oh no, they were all in a big office together and they talked about it. It's like, no, it's just some guy who was drawing like a really cool webtoon for himself and his friends probably, and more people got into it. It's like oh gosh, what's the one that again, my mind of course forgets the name of the thing. Something to do, it's the one which has like the little like chibi type characters with the horns, and everybody's got their like version of themselves in it, and it's like this sort of, it started off as a web cartoon, I think, and then it's like blown up to be like this huge fandom. I can envision it, but because I haven't watched it, I like again, my brother knows a lot about it, but again, I can't remember what it was, but hopefully the name will just jump into my head at some point during this. But it's always fun to learn that, like, that massive huge IP that's now a video game and an anime and stuff like that, just some guy's drawings in their bedroom. Love it. You just never know what's gonna blow up, but it's just so interesting that it feels like in a lot of spaces, the drinking, anime, whatever, that it really is like Korea is like blowing up, right? And it's like, oh, these Korean properties, these Korean IPs, and some of it is, obviously taken very much by big corporations, and then they really consumer the hell out of it, right? And then some of it is
like genuine, these are people from there who are working on it, that their break just came and here it is and it's great. So it is really, really like interesting. You know, and I just sometimes think about it and I'm like, oh yeah, you know, when you think about like a K-pop Demon Hunters and Sony passing on it, right? Like, nah, we don't want this. And I was like, oh, you fools, look at what has spawned from K-pop Demon Hunters, and kudos to, you know, the performers that were in it, because I also know, I can't remember her name, but I know one of the girls who sings on it and, you know, did the acting and stuff. She was supposed to be part of so many idol groups and it never worked out, right? And now this is like her time, right? So it's like, good for you. Like, it may have taken a little bit longer, but here you are, right? Like, when you think about all the things that have come out of like, you know, Korea and you know, how it's the cultural exports that have made their way, it's like, you now can say that you were like one of the beacons that has really helped like put it on the map, like after idol groups that didn't work out, and being told, I think at one point she was told she was too old to be in like the idol groups, and it's like, well, joke's on them, because look at you now.
Yeah, exactly. They missed out on a worldwide phenomena. Because of their own kind of like narrow-minded, you know, kind of like, hey, you have to meet all the requirements, you know, and then live up to these incredibly difficult standards. You know, or it all gets taken away. It's a really, really tough industry. And frankly unfair. You know, to call it tough is being polite, you know. It's brutal.
Well, she gets the last laugh, I think.
100%. Yeah,
good for her. Good for her.
Yeah.
I'm happy for her. I'm also happy to hear who your fantasy guest is for this episode.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, one of the cool things that happened amidst the flurry of announcements and stuff over Summer Games Fest, that we obviously as a team did a stellar job, if I might say, covering. I think we really stepped up as a team. We wrote 150 plus articles, something like that, in that week to 10 days. Insane. But one of the coolest announcements to come out of it was to see the next game from Gen Design, which was called Project Robot, and now we know is called Gen Atlas. And that is, of course, the studio that was founded by Fumito Ueda, the developer, the creator behind games like Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, and The Last Guardian. All three of which are games that I adore. And again, they're funny, because I think there was a time when you would have looked back on them and just described them as sort of cult hits in that respect. That I feel like now there's been enough kind of almost not revisionist history or anything like that, but just sort of like enough time spent looking back and going like, oh yeah, it's weird how much those games have influenced so many other developers and stuff like that. You know, in particular, Shadow of the Colossus, I think, is the one that most people point to and go like, with what they were doing there with scale and things like that in particular. It's clear that like a lot of other developers have kind of been inspired by that. But yeah, I after seeing that and having always been a fan of those games, but then also him being a very quiet individual, someone who certainly doesn't, you know, step into the limelight like a Hideo Kojima or a Todd Howard or something like that, or even it just isn't like often talking about stuff.
You can't bring up Todd. You can't bring up Todd. Candy's mad at Todd.
I'll be nice. Listen, I'll be nice. I ranted about it last episode. Todd. It's fine. I don't rant about things 2 episodes in a row. Next episode would be the.
I want to say things like that. But yeah, he's just not someone who he's not often out in the limelight like that, and even still, he doesn't do a lot of interviews like someone like a Sakaguchi or something like that, who is another one who I would love, to spend time talking to about the Final Fantasy series and stuff like that. But Fumito Ueda is, like, I think just a really, really interesting, clearly very kind of like introspective sort of guy who, especially with this most recent game and the kind of the shift from it seems in, kind of from fantasy and to sci-fi and the introduction of combat and stuff like that, in that little pocket alone, I would love to talk to him about that. But then as a greater whole, would love to just sit at, like, be the little, kind of starstruck child at the foot as he just like talks from his chair, and just listen to like his stories of game development and his theories on narrative building and world building in particular. And just, yeah, I just think he's got such a sort of interesting view of telling stories through games. And every time it's this sort of like you nothing is told to you directly, and if it is, it's because it's really esoteric, and you've kind of got half the story, so it's always like a kind of, oh yeah, okay, I understand what's happening, until you hit the end, you're like, oh right, no, now I get it. It's yeah, I think he just has a really, really unique outlook on art and video games, and how they can work and be put together, and the experiences that they can create. And yeah, really excited to hopefully see more of that soon. Again, probably won't.
It might be a little bit of time.
Yeah, as is their want, and I understand that they're pretty quiet normally. And I know I was there with all the other fans after Shadow of the Colossus when we were just like, look, come on, we've got to hear about Last Guardian eventually. And when we did, like, it was an insane feeling to finally see another game from him. So when we saw Project Robot at the Game Awards, was it last year, the year before, I believe, 2024, that was insane. That again was the thing where just sort of I almost was sort of like, I forgot this could happen. I forgot this could have announced. Oh my god! I guess if anything, it's like that would have been the case for something like Final Fantasy VII Remake. But now that we've had Remake and Rebirth, like there's a third one coming, so you can't. There's not that same level of like, oh my god, it's Final Fantasy like Revelation. That's incredible. It's like I'm still thrilled to see that, but I knew it was coming. Like it had to be, of course, So I can't have that same expectation. Seeing Kingdom Hearts 4, that was pretty crazy. Again, like but that to me is a different game now. Yeah, it's I grew up playing that, like a lot of us, I think, in the PS2 era. But with the iteration, it's markedly got further and further away from what it was with the Final Fantasy and Disney stuff, and it's now much more Nomura's like, these are my characters that I want to talk about. Yeah. I'm just like, oh, but I liked it when Cloud fought Sephiroth in the Hades Hercules Coliseum, and nothing made sense, but it was all awesome because it was all my favorite characters.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that was so cool because it's also like, I love Final Fantasy. I love Disney. Here are like these two combinations of things. Like I'm a Disney person. Like we spent many summers like taking a week and going to Disney. So it was like this wonderful combination. And it's like, yeah, okay. Like, and listen, I have not played Kingdom Hearts 3, right? Full disclosure. And like I probably will at some point. I will play all of them because I bought like one of the collections on PlayStation. It's just that there's so many games that come out, and then there's so many games that I have to play 100% completion so that I can write reviews so that V can't play her own games. So so I don't have time.
I don't get to do anything. I don't get to do anything.
He is the little block in that image, like of like the towering mass of different things. She's the little strut just at the base there.
That's not true. Any of you could read and edit a review.
It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't have your touch. You wouldn't be going through it with those daggers, making sure that I haven't like put the wrong person somewhere.
That's because I have a checklist. I have a checklist that has been like refined over over the 2 and a bit years that the site has been around. It's just like, oh, we've published that was a mistake. Like put this in the checklist. Oh shit, like someone has got the publisher name wrong or the studio name wrong. It's like, better put that on the checklist. Like we spoke about it when Dara was on the podcast. Did we talk about it on the podcast or we talked about it before? I can't remember. But they had got a voice actor's name wrong. And I'm like, okay, you need to put that. It's like, if they're names of things, put it on the checklist. If it's something I'm going to have to fact check just very quickly, put it on the checklist. not to go into a rant about the fact that some people for the site, and I'm not going to name any names, but maybe read back through some of your reviews before you send them to me and realize there's a difference between then and than. I'm just saying that is not the same word. It's not the same word. It's not Adam. It's not Adam. I would say that it's not Adam. Adam doesn't know the difference between it's possessive and it's non-possessive.
I was gonna say if it was Adam, she would say exactly what it was. I was gonna say that, but then she went ahead and gave the example. I didn't even have to say anything.
And again, I'm not going to name any names for anything, but there are 3 spellings of the word peak. There are 3. You can peek at something, there can be a peak of something, but if something has piqued your interest, it has a Q-U-E. Like, I know that you might not see it, you might have only heard it, you've never seen it written down, but don't fucking write it down if you don't know how to spell it.
English is hard, man.
Yeah.
English is hard. But yeah, that's one of my very specific ones because it doesn't happen very often. And I'll just be reading and I'm like, oh, that's not the right peak. You're trying to be fancy and you've ruined it. Like, no, I need to check this.
You're doing so well. And they went for the flourish at the end.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna use a good word. Like, I make mistakes in my reviews all the time. I can't say anything.
Yeah,
I can't read. I can't count. I'm essentially illiterate. I don't know how my reviews are doing.
The last, I think the last 2 or 3 are maybe because time crunches and trying to get things done quickly. I think even when I was reading back through my own, I was like, oh, I made a lot of mistakes here. And I'm like, I'm sure I didn't catch all of these. Just because it was I'm trying to get through these previews and then do this and then do this and I just the frantic typing and then frantically and then thinking that frantic typing followed by frantic review is gonna actually catch the things. I'm like, when you're doing it so frantically, you're not gonna catch and afterwards me knows this. But then I definitely got to a point where I was like, you know what? V's gonna catch my fuck ups. So I'll be fine.
V's gonna read. This is the second podcast we have recorded today. I'm ruining the mystique because I did change my t-shirt and put my hair up, so it seemed like it wasn't. But we're doing back-to-back recordings. But we had another guest on our previous pod, which you will know. It was Brett, because Brett was also there.
Yes, for those who don't understand the accent, she is saying Brett. B-R-E-T-T.
Wait, are you saying that they sound the exact same when I say them, even when I'm trying? Oh,
only when you're talking very fast.
I'm always talking very fast.
I think I have gotten used to your accent, so I can tell the difference. But I think that's also because I talk to you.
This is me slowing myself down so people can understand what I say. Because Harry has once heard me on the phone to my father, and it is like listening to gibberish, just genuine gibberish.
It was the escalation of it starting I can understand, and by the end of it, I'm like, no, I don't know what that's I have no idea.
But while Brett was on, we were talking about what he had enjoyed from Summer Games Fest and what he was looking forward to. And one of them was the Star Wars game Zero Company, is it what it's called?
Yeah.
So I was like, I had missed the Summer Games Fest showcase because I had been away for the weekend, and I opened it up to see the little blurb of the game, and there was a spelling mistake in the paragraph about the blurb of the game. So I was just like, okay, well, they're talking about that, so I'll just edit this real quick. So I know for showcases it's because again I've done a few of them, and it is because you are frantically trying to type them out, and you're like, okay, and then going through every single entry when the WordPress won't load because there's too many trailers and everything else.
There's too many trailers, there's too many people in WordPress, and it's absolutely not, and I'm just like, WordPress, I need you to get it together. It is showcase season. I know you are tired. So are some of the other people who are working on showcases. Get it together. Stop it.
Get your shit together.
Who thought it was a good idea to do an update midweek of showcase week as well? And it's change stuff in the UI around it. It's where have you put the things? Where have you put them? Why are they
Yes.
behind tabs now?
Wait,
Ugh.
what? Has there been
They
an
moved-
update?
They changed some of the
It's
the SEO
some of
menu.
the
They
stuff.
changed something around.
Yeah, some of the stuff is moved, or like
Yeah.
also, I'm not gonna go into a whole AI rant, but like they keep like saying like, don't you want to have AI help you? I'm like, no, I don't.
No.
No, it's like AI can help you write this. Fuck off. No, I don't want
Yeah,
this.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I wonder if I can switch that off. Like, I don't.
We added a fourth pillar for a reason at WordPress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was able at one point to pick "Don't show me this again," and it hasn't shown it to me since.
Mm.
But like it was just one of these things where it was like, "Do you want an AI prompt?" I'm like, "No, I already know what I'm coming here to write." "Do you want this?" "No, I don't. I already know what I'm coming here to write."
Yeah, I'll see if I can switch that off. I didn't notice any change when I was doing any posts, but I think my layout is different from everyone's anyway because
Oh,
I have
probably you have different access.
I have
Yeah.
administrator privileges in case
Yeah.
anything goes wrong in the back end, and I don't know why it's for me because I don't know how to code. Like, I'm just the only person willing to look at it. I think is how it goes.
Shouldn't be here.
I'm like, oh, I hope this doesn't fuck anything up. Like, just
Haven't
change
messed it
this,
up
yeah.
yet, so you're right.
Yeah.
I'm like, Google, how do I do this? Don't give me your AI summary. I want to see from a nerdy little man on Reddit. That's what I want to see. Like,
Yep, just type in whatever you're gonna type in and then minus AI. Every time, minus AI.
I
minus
type in
AI.
what I want to see, and then I just at the end I just write in Reddit.
On
A nerdy
YouTube.
little
And
man on Reddit will know. He will know,
Yep.
and he will have written a Reddit thread about it, and then there'll be 20 other nerdy little guys underneath being like, oh, I had the same issue but slightly different, and here's how I did it, and then I can just
Yep.
scroll through it all till I find the exact problem, and I'm like, there we go. We trust the tiny little nerdy guys on Reddit. Like, thank you.
We love the tiny little nerdy kings.
yeah,
Yeah.
and queens, and queens. Like,
They do great. They do great work. And
We
the,
love
and the
them.
YouTube walkthroughs as well. Always gotta love a good walkthrough.
I love a
on
good
YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube walkthrough. When I'm
Mhm.
trying to do something and I can find a video that will show me step by step.
Yep.
Ugh.
yeah.
How do I layer this text so it's like in front of this layer but behind this layer? I want to create depth. How do I do that? And there's always a guy.
Yeah.
There's a girl. There's always somebody.
There's
who's
always
Yeah.
someone
made
who
it.
has done it and explored and spent way too long figuring it out so that I can find their video and copy their steps and do it in 2 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And I love
God
you
bless
for
you.
it.
Yeah, we love you. I
We see you.
remember we do get encouraged to try and use AI at work. So once a week or once a month, I will type something into the work AI just so that my boss doesn't
Grow
go,
up.
oh, you never, yeah, I'm like, fuck you, don't talk to me. Like, but once I asked it to do me like a DAX query or something like that for Power BI, and it came back and it was just not correct at all. And I was like, this is not correct.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, I see why this isn't correct. Try this. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I was like, yeah, that's not correct either. And it was like, no, I completely understand. No, I understand. Try this. And I'm like, that's the same as this is the first time. This is the same as the first time. And then I went on YouTube and like this little guy just had a 5-minute video explaining how to do it perfectly. And I'm like, what a waste of fucking time and money. Like, everyone in my work is like, I asked Microsoft Copilot, and I'm like, you're all stupid. You're the dumbest people I've ever met. This is absurd. None of you better be being paid the same salary as me, you dumbasses. Like,
I love the fact that again, like, I'm gonna completely butcher it, but there's a great tweet post, whatever it was that went up, and it's someone describing that whole experience of like talking with an AI, but it's doing it from like it's something to do with like if it was like NASA using it, and it's like priming the space shuttle for launch, and it like ends with like the shuttle blowing up, and then the AI just come back like, oh, I see what happened. I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do. And it's like, yeah, that's what you do every time. You don't care about the
Literally.
instructions.
Literally every
It's
time.
so good. Yeah.
Oh my god. I just. Ugh.
the worst. I said I was down at my mum's last weekend, and the CEO of the company she works for, is like, "Oh, should we be using AI? Like, should we be using this for stuff?" So my mum asked me, and I was like, "No, you definitely tell him no. Tell him that he's an idiot, and he should not be using it. And she was like, I don't know, he's kind of dead set. So the next day, while she was at work, I was working from her house. There was an Instagram reel, and it was like the CEO coming into someone's office being like, why is the cost of our business tripled in the last month? And it was like, oh, because you keep trying to get us to use AI for everything, and the tokens are expensive. Like,
Mhm.
and it's like, what do you mean? I thought it was supposed to streamline everything. And I was like, just show this to your CEO. Just send, show him this. This is
Full
not going
send.
to save you any money. Like,
Yep.
just stop it.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Full send. Don't do this. Just don't do it.
And stop
So-
putting it in your stop putting it in your artwork for games and then being like, oh, we're sorry, we didn't realize it was a placeholder. Oh no.
Ugh.
Like,
I am very mad at Sega for being like, yeah, we use it.
Mm,
I'm like, Sega, why?
Yeah.
Why?
yeah.
Like, what is this? I feel
was
like
a
there were
real-
people excited for Crazy Taxi until you were like, by the way.
I was big time excited. Very, very disappointed by that. That left a real sour taste.
Right?
Yeah. Really, really sad. Because I don't see what they needed it for. It's not. It's not as if you were struggling for sources of references and stuff like that. For Christ's sake, you know.
Yes.
One, you've got the fucking original, and secondly,
it's a
you know,
remake. What are you doing?
yeah, what are you doing? Come on. What do you need the AI for?
Mm.
Jesus, like, come on, guys. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
It's awkward. It's embarrassing. It's. I don't know. It just, yeah. It makes me not want to buy a game that I otherwise literally like 5 seconds earlier was
Mhm.
practically frothing at the mouth for.
Yes.
You know,
and like
that was basically my like. Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that was basically that was at that time like my announcement for the whole of like SGF pretty much.
Mhm.
And then Spyro came along, but you know. We'll get to that.
And then Spyro. So fuck you, Crazy Taxi. No, like I was thinking about this, right? Because there was a game that somebody else was talking about. That they're like, oh, but it uses AI, and I don't know if I should like review it and blah blah blah, right?
Mm.
And I was trying to think about this, and I'm like, okay, obviously, unfortunately, to some extent, AI is a little bit inevitable. Fine. I'm like, I think to some extent, if you are like a solo developer, I might be a little bit more like, okay, if you use it as placeholder, if you use it as this, right? Because you're a solo dev, but like, and I mean someone who is like truly a solo dev, right?
Yeah.
I could understand where, yes, it might actually make things maybe a little bit easier as you're trying to work out kinks, as you're like trying to figure things out, right? And as long as you have the intention of being like, but then I'm taking it out, but to design, you know, these other pieces, I just needed some AI art on the wall to finish what this person's bedroom would look like or whatever, and I'm going to replace it later, but I just need to get the structure. Or I could see a rationale if you're truly a solo dev with very little funding, blah, blah, blah. I don't love it, but I could see that there's a case for it, right? I cannot see any rational case where someone like Sega needs to do this, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I understand that to some people this is, you know, maybe helpful in certain capacities and whatever, but Sega has, I know they don't have unlimited funds, but they're not hurting for money, right?
Yeah.
They're not hurting for an audience. They're not trying to rush to get things out because they're going to lose a fan base, right? Nobody was sitting here being like, oh my God, when's the next Crazy Taxi coming out? And then because you announced it however long ago, right? Like this was like, oh my God, it's Crazy Taxi. I'm so excited until we learned that, right? So it's just, and it makes me nervous for all the other things that like ultimately Sega will put out, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like, you know, they have so many IPs, right? Like what, like, are we going to get another Sonic game that has a whole bunch of like AI? And for what, when you have so much Sonic stuff already, right? Like why would you need
Yeah.
AI? Like, you know, all these different things that you own. Don't
Dr.
do it.
Robotnik, like deforestation and like rounding up little critters to make robots the bad guy. Oh, let's use AI to make that game. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But and obviously, for me, knowing that like Persona 6 is coming out eventually, right? Like
Yeah.
Atlas is a subsidiary of Sega, right? Like, are you going to use AI in that? How about you fucking don't, right? The only AI that I want to see in an Atlas game is the AI that was a character in Persona 5, one of the spin-offs. I can't remember which one it was at this point. I think it was Strikers. Yeah, it was Strikers. I can't remember her name, but she was very cute and she had red like hearts for her hair and she was adorable, right? That's the only AI I want to see in a Sega game, right? One that is a character and not actual, just like we made this with AI. Like, no. But I like it did, seeing that they are like, yeah, we use AI all the time. I'm like, why? Stop this. No.
It's not as if it's made the Crazy Taxi like remake come out any quicker. Like
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's coming out next year. Well, if this was to streamline things, I would have expected this to at least had a release date tied to it, and it didn't. So clearly, it's not speeding things up. Doesn't look any different from what I think people would have expected from a remake of this sort of game anyway. So it's not as if it was like transformative in its visuals or anything like that. And don't tell me that the game that they punched they asked the AI to come up with game modes and stuff for it, because they wouldn't have done that. That wouldn't have made sense. They've designed all that stuff themselves at the end of the day. That when it comes to like the weird little mechanics they've got going on, where you can like drive up the end. They've got they've added a fishing game, into Crazy Taxi, where you're like throwing a rock and stuff like that. They've done no wacky shit. That's great fun, and I'm sure it's gonna be like silly and all the rest of it. But like that hasn't been conjured up by an AI. That's been conjured up by programmers messing about and coming up with different mechanics and seeing what they can do with the physics and stuff like that. What can we do when you're in a car? You got to stack the pizza boxes and keep them all balanced and stuff like that. Well, if you stop suddenly, you can throw something really far. What do you do to use that with? Fishing rod. Let's do fishing game. Weird stuff like that. And like that's cool. That's human creativity on display right there.
Is putting a fishing mode in a game creativity in the year of our Lord 2026? Like,
not when everything has a fishing game. No.
Hey, look, I'll agree with you when they add an animal into it that somehow you pet from the taxi, like you sort of reach out of the car and pet the dog. At which point
you can't be anti-petting animals in games.
Oh no, I'm not. But that's the same thing though, isn't it? It's like you look for if you can pet the animal, and you look for if there's a fishing mini game. Those are the two things. No,
Candy and I are actively anti-fishing fishing games.
It's just too much, and none of the mechanics are ever that good.
Well, I mean, there's definitely some truth to that. Yeah. I enjoyed Dredge. Dredge was fun. I did like doing Dredge.
That was the whole point of the game. That's not a fishing mechanic in the game, though. That is a game of. That's allowed if your game is if that's its core, like Dave the Diver or something like that. You're going to be
fishing.
You're going to be harpooning them right in the face.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the core mechanic of the game. It's just like, we're doing this. We've made a 2D isometric action roguelike, and there's fishing. It's like all the things you've done, all the things. Like you've remade Hades, which also had fishing.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Oh, no.
That's true.
No. I
fucking
fishing game.
Do you think there will be a fishing minigame in Spyro?
No, I don't think there will be somehow.
But what if there is?
But what if there is? No. No, I don't think they would do that. I think what I'm excited about is obviously that they're having it. So now our boy is all grown up. Well, I say all grown up. He's a bit older, which means he now flies properly, which is very, very cool. So I love that. So yeah, I'm. That was definitely the thing I popped for the most. I think during all of Showcase Week, as SPFX.
What are you talking about? they'd had more about Control Resonant. Like, why lie?
Okay,
Why
but
lie
that's
when
been
we
so
know?
consistent for Harry. That's been like.
Yeah. And also, like the Control Resonant really, we're coming up to the line on like being the next, what was it called? Deathloop for me, because we saw 3 different trailers
Yeah.
over the course of the week there. They were at 3 different showcases, and I'm like, Sam, guys, everybody at Remedy, I love you. Fucking stop. We're getting to, this is enough. There needs to be a lid. There's a lid on this somewhere. And the next thing I want to hear from you is either it's out now, or if you're going to do anything before that, there's a demo. That's all I want. I don't need anything else. I need the launch trailer, and I need maybe a demo. But otherwise, yeah, you did a great showing across 3 different showcases. I don't want any more. Otherwise, it will just be too much.
I will say I was slightly surprised that your fantasy guest was not someone from Control.
Yeah, that's fair. It sounds like obviously would be another dream one, absolutely. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I was going through, and I did very quickly realize, like, everyone who I want to speak to is just a game developer. Like, that's it. Like, everybody.
That's
I ever want to
fine.
speak to is, yeah, no, I know, I get that.
That's hilarious.
But I was just, yeah, and I was just sort of like, oh yeah, who would I want to speak to? And it was literally just like Sakaguchi, Miyamoto, Sam Lake. Like, there's just so many different guys out there. Like, oh, Ted Price, Tim Schafer. Like, yeah, it's just, how does it feel to have made my childhood? Talk to me. It's just that, basically. It's purely that. But yeah, no, I think Sam Lake for me is very much the sort of, and Remedy as a whole very much is like one, I think, of the coolest studios around at the moment. And I love the fact that for the longest time, I think lots of people did know this because they started with things like Max Payne, like one of the coolest, like by definition, video games was like, obviously, you had the Matrix bringing in bullet time, so immediately like slap that in a video game, and it's like, holy shit, like this is cinema sort of thing at that moment in time. And then they go on, and then they're doing things like Control and Quantum Break, and yeah, it's just, and Alan Wake, of course, like, oh my god, just everything was just so cool and exciting and interesting. And yet again, there was always something stopping them from reaching the echelon they're at now, where I think a lot more people look at Remedy and go like, oh, we look at them to pioneer. Whilst more often than not, it was just, oh, they're kind of cool and crazy and weird, but that's fine. But now it's very much like, oh yeah, no, they're up there as a one to watch at all times, which is really, really cool.
I think that's fair. I think they have like really tried to outdo themselves, and I think the cool thing about that is they're not waiting for someone to outdo them. Whereas I feel like, how many times do we say, oh, it's good that this studio finally has competition from somebody else? Like, that shouldn't have to be the case. And yes, you're not always going to be able to outdo yourself one right after the other. Obviously, that's very difficult. But it's nice to see a studio that is actually trying to do that, and like, it almost feels like that's their goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, funny enough, in a funny way, but in the same way, slightly different. You've got Remedy doing their own thing and have always been true to their own thing. We're going to do interesting blends of media and stuff like that in our games. We're going to have live action. We're going to have like moments where there's like a projector in game showing live action footage on the screen. Stuff like that, which when you really think about what's happening there, you're just like, Jesus Christ, like how much work went into figuring out how to pull that off. That's insane. And all these incredible visuals that they come up with. But then on the other side, and so they're sticking true to their kind of like their vision, their narrative, and the ideas that they have, which is really exciting. And then you have someone like Toys for Bob, who are now obviously independent. They're doing their own thing, but very much so like, we know what we want to do as well still, and that is very much like kind of being the new shepherds of things like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. Like, you hand them a mascot platformer from their series of video games, and they're in safe hands. And that's what it seems to be like with them as well, where it's like they've kind of been able to now have their identity, and people recognize what it is, as opposed to being trapped under the Activision COD blanket, and so it's really exciting to see Remedy taking off. They're doing exciting new things with their stuff. They've always been a ranged combat based developer, but now with Resonant, you've got melee combat, melee focused, and they've really laid on that, like, this is what's happening, this is what we're doing. and judging by previews, it's working. It sounds like people are really excited for what's coming, so that's great to hear. And then on the other side, you've got Toys for Bob, who are aging up Spyro and finally kind of, you know, in a nice way, bring him into the new generation, the new kind of like era, and hopefully introducing lots of, you know, gamers, young and old, to a character who was beloved for a while, dipped out, and now hopefully is having a cool comeback, because I think Spyro is, again, you'll always have conversations with people who their favorite mascot platformer was. People pick Crash or a Banjo or a Ratchet or something like that. I think Spyro is stuck out as unique because for everybody else, it's like you've gone with a bipedal creature. By definition, they will move a certain way. Spyro moved like no other character, and it made the game so much more interesting to get lost in. I feel just knowing that like you moved a certain way. You moved like a vehicle. You didn't move like a person. You turned like you had 4 points touching the ground and stuff like that, and that meant so much more. Insomniac, again, obviously they don't do it now, but you know, it's gone into good hands of Toys for Bob. But Insomniac, when they were doing it, one of my favorite studios, and you know, they were doing Spyro, and now they do Spider-Man, and in the midst of that, they did Sunset Overdrive, which is one of my personal favorite games. And yeah, they've always been brilliant, and I could gush about them for hours as well. Just, you know, I'm thrilled. I'm really genuinely thrilled that Spyro is back, and I hope all these studios that for a while have kind of had to linger on the outskirts are finally getting their chance to kind of bask in it. And yeah, I wish them all the success. You know, this is the time we need it. This is really the time we need these games to be successes, because if it doesn't happen now, then we're getting closer and closer to just full monopolization of just like 10 different live service, you know, games. Yeah, and that's it. And yeah, and Nintendo.
Do you think now is a good time for a resurgence of mascots, like in general? Like, and maybe not just the mainstream mascots, right? Like the maybe even like the second tier mascots, right? And I know obviously we said and Nintendo is like a little bit separate, but you know, they put out like the Donkey Kong game, right? We're seeing Spyro come back, right? Like,
just got Busby like back.
Right, that right.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Do we think that now is the time to like what's the other one? Echo the Dolphin, that like we know, right? Is this the resurgence of these sort of things? And should we revisit that maybe so that these other studios, you know, some are smaller, some are bigger, so I'm just saying like other, right, are being able to shine by having a mascot that people can recognize, that they maybe recognize from the past, that will become someone that they can recognize in the future? Like, do you think this is that time?
For mascot platformers, like 2D, 3D, whichever way you want to look at it, like absolutely, I think so, because I think you can kind of look at a pattern throughout gaming where it's very much a case of this generation grew up playing this type of game. So first-person shooters is the full roundabout example I'll use here because it's happened, which is people grew up playing FPS games on PC, like Doom and Quake and Unreal Tournament and, you know, all these Wolfenstein and stuff like that. That was first-person shooters. They defined it. It defined it. Then it went on for a while, and we had different types. It got more narrative-based. It got more into the multiplayer. All sorts of different things occurred, basically. And then eventually you had this sort of, okay, the first person shooter is essentially going to be redesigned by somebody. They're going to come along and give it that sort of like freshening up that it requires in order for it to now survive in a way which isn't just like, oh, you know, AA kind of like narrative led shooters and stuff like that, or like a bigger studio might do it, like Insomniac making like the Resistance series or something like that. Like, you're going to get cool ideas, but none of them are taking off in a big way. But then you eventually get Halo and stuff like that suddenly, and the game has changed. You know, you've got Call of Duty now is with the first Modern Warfare, you know, which is like, we have multiplayer and all that in that generation was completely redefined how shooters essentially were looked at by markets, because it was a different case now. We weren't doing LAN parties and stuff like that. We could actually do full online. And so the shooter got totally revolutionized. But in the meantime, single player platformers and stuff like that, went by the wayside. They weren't the big money earners anymore. They weren't the ones that people were looking for. They weren't the big exciting releases that had been revolutionized. They'd kept up a little bit, but otherwise, they either died off, your Crocs, your Banjos, your Sly Coopers and stuff like that, or they had something going for them which meant they could stick around a little bit longer, like Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank has been able to survive because it's essentially more than just a classic jump around and collect stuff. It's got the guns, it's got great characters, all this sort of stuff. Jak and Daxter tried for a while, opting in for like the GTA kind of clone kind of thing vibe, which I loved and I thought was great fun. And I have a sort of big soft spot for those games, obviously. But then, of course, Uncharted had to come along eventually, and Naughty Dog grew up. And that's it. It's the fact that now we are at that time in history where the people who grew up playing the mascot platformers are the developers now running the studios.
Right.
So you've got the people who played those games now wanting to make those games because you want to make the thing you love, essentially. So it's why Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was made by a bunch of guys who grew up playing Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger, and you can tell. You didn't need them to tell you. You can tell that that's what's being made there. Astrobot is clearly made by a bunch of people who grew up playing Mario 64, and again, you had the studio head, tongue cheekily talking about like the Red Company, during their award speech for Game of the Year at the Game Awards. They had to. You couldn't get away with not being like tip of the cap, Nintendo. We can't not. They invented it, for Christ's sake. How can you, so like you have to pay respects. So I think right now is absolutely the time for it. Whether or not it's because it will be successful or not, I can't tell you that.
Yeah, of course.
But I think you have the right people, hopefully, within the mix where they are interested in doing it. They've been thinking long and hard about what they would do with these sorts of games in their lives as they've grown up, to be like, oh, you could do this sort of thing. What happens? What would it be like if Spyro could actually fly in the game? Like, what would that mean for world design? Have we suddenly got a Zelda Breath of the Wild style Spyro game where he's flying between flying islands and then a central platform, and then he can go underneath that into like underground caverns? Like, where are we going with this? And now we've got those people who were 12, 13 thinking about that sort of thing in the positions at Toys for Bob. So they're going like, guys, I pulled out all my drawings. Let's do it. Spyro's going to fly, because I spent years thinking about how I would do it. And I think that's what it is. I think a lot of it just comes down to it's what people grew up with. It's what they know. And if it's not here, then they're going to hopefully fight to try and bring it back. And if they can't, they'll find a way to do something similar and just, create a new mascot to do it. It's what Yooka-Laylee is Banjo-Kazooie and everything but name. And it's literally that. It's Banjo 3 that we all wanted but couldn't have. So they did that instead. So yeah, absolutely. I think it is the renaissance of it is happening as we speak. I hope that it's successful. I hope it means that we do get, more Spyro games. I don't think every single one has to come back. It'd be lovely if they did. But, I'm just as welcome to the idea of new mascots coming along and becoming like the new ones that kids love, or gamers love. I'm particularly excited for that Dusk Fade game, which is like a kind of like Kingdom Hearts inspired game sort of thing. But kids may not relate to the Kingdom Hearts series in a way anymore that like someone might relate to this character, because it's not so wrapped up in the Disney thing or not so wrapped up in the Final Fantasy thing. Maybe this is one that actually now this character feels like one that they can latch onto, and this can become a new IP in a funny way, and not mascot related necessarily. But when I was reviewing a point and click game, Crushed in Time, the thought I had when playing it, because it was so good, and I kept thinking like, man, this feels like playing an old-fashioned LucasArts point and click game. It's that damn good. And it was like just that simple fact of like, possibly I'm witnessing the origin of a soon-to-be much beloved series. You know what I mean? You have those fleeting moments where like, is this actually going to be the next big thing in this genre? Is this the thing that does it? Like, am I going to be playing Crushed in Time 2 in 3 years' time? And then is it going to have like people who love this series, because I think there are times when you come across stuff and you realize like, oh, this is where the genre should be going,
Mhm.
you know, or at least like, oh, these people are like clued in enough to what's like good for it, you know,
Yeah.
and it's going to introduce more people to it because it streamlines things that were otherwise too rough before, or you know, yeah, I'm very excited by the prospect of like more of certain genres that have fallen by the wayside. And again, the indie scene is above all the best for doing that. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, I just hope that we do see some success in that push, because if not, then yeah, as I said, it goes back to it goes back to
Yeah.
the bad side.
It goes back
Yeah.
to the same things that we've been seeing. Is
Yeah,
there
yeah.
V, if you had to pick a mascot that needs a revival, is there one that you can think of?
No, not really, because I didn't play a lot of mascot platformers when I was growing up. We had a Nintendo, and then I had
Mm.
an original Xbox. I played most of my games on PC, so the only one that I really played was either Mario or Spyro, because my cousin had a PlayStation, and she would make me write everything down. I was a navigator. I wasn't allowed to play unless you got stuck on something, and then I was tagged in. So I don't think there's any for me that because I'm not as familiar with the genre. I'm just
Well-
excited that there's more different types of games coming out. I think it was very good to see a lot of people, because obviously there's the different types of gamers. There's the people that just buy COD and FIFA every year, or a mixture of both. They don't watch gaming showcases because they don't care about
don't
it
care, yeah.
in that way. Like, I
Yeah.
have a lot of friends that I work with who play video games, but they're not like into video games the way that we're into video games.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see a lot of people who even are like Call of Duty fans and stuff like that being like, really, we're ending the Xbox showcase on COD, like a deep dive into COD. It's like, we know there's a COD coming out. Like,
Yeah.
even
There's
though
always a COD
this-
coming out.
Yeah.
There's always a card. Yeah.
Even though this one apparently, like, again, I've not actually watched any of the trailers for it, but like Mark, who's our big COD guy, he's like, oh, this looks really good. But there was already like a reveal of it before that showcase to then be like, oh, we're doing deep dive into COD, and like just almost universally people were like, bro, I don't care. Like, this has been a great showcase and there's been a lot of fun things and a bit of something for everyone, and the people that are going to buy COD are going to buy COD regardless, and we don't really care about it. So why are we ending on, let's do 20 minutes of Call of Duty? And I'm like, it probably wasn't 20 minutes. I think I stopped watching.
felt
at
like
that point. I
it,
was like, I'm tuned out. It always feels like
As someone who's
like,
not a
and
Call of Duty person, it felt like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even dislike COD that much. Like, I've played a few of them, but yeah, it was good to see, just like as a whole, people who are more into games to the point that they'd be watching things like showcases and stuff collectively come together and be like, we're excited for Persona, we're excited for Spyro, we're excited even for like Gears of War, like we're excited to see a comeback of these, and we're excited for some of the smaller titles that are coming up, or even like, oh, we're excited for like Alien Isolation 2, we're excited for all these fun things. And then at the end it was like, oh really, more fucking Call of Duty? Whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's a good
it's like,
thing.
yeah, give the people what they want. They're not going to be COD sellers. Nothing is, apart from like GTA. Like, you're not, the majority of your games are not outselling Call of Duty, no matter what platform you're on, or no matter what like genre and stuff it's in, because the people that buy it are the people that buy it every year. It's the same, like, your top 10 played games on any platform are going to be Call of Duty, Minecraft, Roblox. Like, these are not the target market for the majority of other video games, because
not.
these are just the games that they play. Like,
Yeah.
So give us more of the other stuff, like, and also be realistic in your expectations about sales and like what these games are going to do. Stop thinking you're like mascot platformers going to do fucking COD numbers. It's not. Like,
It can do good numbers, but it's not going to do COD
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
be reasonable. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Measure your expectations, and yeah, as you say, it's weird when yeah, in a situation with the showcase like that, I mean, like, yeah, we got to see quite a lot of some pretty cool games, as we said.
Mhm.
And again, like when you look at like the PlayStation State of Play, they finished on that really long section for God of War: Loud Fate. Now, that's had seemingly mostly positive reactions, but there've been some people who felt like, oh, I didn't really want to see just a full like 20 minutes. Like that's
Yeah.
a lot of like me watching characters like, you know, talk and stuff like that. Like I want to see more, either just like show me a narrative bit, then a bunch of gameplay and then end, or you know, don't at least show me the full beginning of the game. You know,
Mhm.
I'm going to assume that it's not the full beginning of the game, and there are probably bits that have been somewhat specially edited out. So maybe it's different lines of dialogue are said or something like that, maybe, because
Right.
you know it's that whole one shot thing. So it'd be hard to like remove a full shot entirely. But like I could imagine that different dialogue could be slotted in a neat way somewhere to have hidden certain details, maybe. But otherwise, like, yeah, I feel like ending your show at least on like, hey, this is PlayStation's like thing. Again, we saw the Ocarina of Time remake announced, the last thing. Again, that, you know, Nintendo's, you know, one last thing. Keighley learned from his lesson and was like, I'm not going to do a complete unknown. I'm going to go with Final Fantasy VII Revelation,
yeah,
like, and make sure that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to make sure I end on a certified banger. And he did right by everybody for doing that. But yeah, for Xbox to then be like, look, it's one of ours. Yeah, technically it's one of our IPs under Activision and like that. So we're going to end on it because it is an Xbox title. It's an Xbox game. It's like, but no, and as much as you push for it, no one will ever see it that way.
Mhm.
No one will ever view Call of Duty as an Xbox game. It is a multi-platform title, you know, and unless you decide to change that, which would be balmy. Like, yeah.
I think legally they're actually not allowed.
Well, yeah, they're not legally allowed to anyway. But if they were to attempt
Asha might be out here being
Yeah.
like, fuck y'all. Like, I'm here. Exclusives back on Xbox. But
Mhm.
then, you know, the FTC's like, no, legally.
It wasn't me
you're
who
not
said
allowed
that, you
to
know.
say this.
Yeah.
Legally, you're not allowed to say this.
I didn't say
Candy,
that.
would you like to see another? What action or mascot platformer would you like to see?
I don't know that I'd want to see necessarily an action platformer. There's not one that that I would be like, oh, this is a mascot that I want a revival for.
Do you not want a Persona 5 spin-off where the mascot is just
How many
Morgana?
Persona 5 spin-offs do I need? I mean, all of them, but
all of them, every single one.
the mascot
Like-
that I would want a spin-off for,
Hey.
because he was never an action platformer to begin with. Okay.
Mm.
But I would still love, and this will never happen, but my God, would I lose my shit if this happened. I want to see Parappa the Rapper come back.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
because
yeah.
again, not a
Absolutely.
platformer, right?
No,
Yeah,
no.
but
Rhythm
like
game.
some sort of rhythm game with Parappa, right? And like you can
Yeah.
bring back the characters, like that's like because you know, and I know it was a very specific time where you used Parappa to teach players like basically how to use a PlayStation controller, right? And Nintendo did this with the Switch. With the Switch 2, where they were like, here's this Switch 2 game that shows you all the features and you have to pay like 10, 20 bucks to play this game. I don't know, because I still don't have a Switch 2, right? But like, I know that they did that where it was like, here's how you learn about the Switch. They made it, Sony made it fun with Parappa the Rapper, right? Because it was like, here's these silly rhymes and here's this. And, you know, even to me, sometimes I'm like, games like Parappa the Rapper like walked so that then a game like Rock Band could run. Right.
Oh, 100%.
So it's like I would love to see Parappa come back in some capacity, right? Where it's a story game. I don't care.
But do you think if the new Rhythm Heaven game does well, Herman Hulst's going to be like, right, get Parappa the Rapper out of the vault. Get him out. Come on, let's go. The rhythm games are back. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Bring him back.
This is genuinely like, this is so sad, but I'm going to say it. I spend most of my waking life thinking of like what games would work best if you like push them together, you know, just like what genres would work really well together. So now I'm immediately, my mind's gone to, because you said something like story driven game or something like that there, Candy, and I'm like, oh, let's do Paper Mario Parappa the Rapper with rhythm based mechanics in the combat.
The art is already there. Like he's already
there.
like that flat
It's there.
art. Like you could
It's
100% do it.
would be great.
100%.
The
It would be
Thousand Year
perfect.
Door remake, I feel like did very well. Like I bought it.
Yeah.
Like,
You know
I
what
bought it.
mean?
I have a GameCube. I still have the GameCube version of it, but I bought it. Like,
The Mario Luigi RPGs and stuff, they are proof of concept. Any
Yes.
RPG which is like used like QT events, Expedition 33 again, they did all that with the parrying and stuff like that. It's like
Harmon, give the people what they want. Like,
I'm just saying, could you could you imagine?
the rapper killing God. Put Parappa the
Yeah.
rapper in a turn-based QTE
I was like,
based
he doesn't even need to be killing God. Like, could you imagine just like him
God.
and Jammer Lammy, because that was the one that came out afterwards, right? Like, they have created a band somewhat in the vein of like a Linkin Park with like the rap and the rock combo, right? And you have to get them from the garage to the world tour, and you have to do
Yes.
rhythm-based things in order to like that. Like,
Chuck in a
you
little bit of
could-
like Jet Set Radio in there.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
Like just throw a dash at that end. Like,
Yeah.
That's it, right there. Right, like that is your game.
We are available
right
to
there.
consult. Why are you asking AI? We are available to consult on your next game.
Yeah,
Like-
that's the thing. Why are they using AI? Do you not have any idea how many ideas got men out and women are out there? Just people who only have ideas. We have no useful skills whatsoever.
I have no skills. I
no
only have
skills.
ideas.
I have so many ideas. Literally,
I can't
let me-
read.
Let me do all I need. I said it. All I ever need is a Disney exec who's related to Star Wars. I have got such a good pitch for you. You have no idea. It will make you so much money. I'm not sharing it here because on the off chance it happens, I am definitely just going to corner them in the elevator. Like, you must hear my idea. Don't scream. I have a great idea.
That's what I'm like.
but yeah.
I would love
So
to
if
see
we're-
Parappa. Oh my god, that make me so happy.
If we're looking for a new guides editor in the next few months, it's because
We know what
Harry is in
happened.
jail because he
No.
cornered an exec in a lift
Wow,
and was like,
wow.
"Don't
Wait,
scream!" Like,
I like that V went to because Harry cornered them to jail, not because they were like, you know what, you son of a bitch, that was a great
Yeah.
idea. Come to our offices, you're hired, right? V went to
Yeah.
the worst possible reason.
well, because
Don't
it's
scream
not like
because you're so excited by how good my idea was.
it's because it's not like here's my elevator pitch. I'm going for it. It's like immediately
to be
just going
weird.
up to them and going, "Don't scream!" Like you can't just go into an elevator and be like, "No, wait, like don't scream!" Like I don't know who told you that's how an elevator pitch starts like, but you can't do that. Like.
I haven't had the chance to try. I don't know.
Just turning off the function, like stopping the elevator, like you're
I
stuck
never
in here
said I
with
did
me.
that. I never said I did that. Now you're embellishing. Now
Of course I'm
suddenly wearing the
embellishing.
balaclava
Just
and,
because
you know,
just because Gengar has told you to do that to people, V, doesn't mean that Harry would do that to the Star Wars exec, okay?
I would never corner someone in an elevator to tell them my ideas. If I am stopping you in an elevator and the elevator is not moving, it's because I'm about to fuck you up. Like, don't get into a lift with me. Like,
this is all the people come away with. Just don't ever get into a lift with any other PSC.
Nothing else from this episode will stick except
Yeah.
just don't come into the lift with me.
Yeah.
don't come into the lift with me. I mean,
I
it's
hold the-
fine.
If
But,
I
you
hold
know,
the door for you, just take the stairs. It's fine. I won't take it personally.
That's what Gengar tells me to do. He's like, corner your enemies in a
No.
lift and beat them up. Like,
I know.
They already did that in a Marvel movie, V.
That's it.
he was
did.
cornered by his enemies. I am cornering you. It's not the other way. I am the bad guy in this situation. It's
Gengar
not
just
the other way
flipped it.
around.
Gengar just flipped it though. Gengar was like, you know what? That looks really good. We should do that.
We should
Yeah.
do that. Although, depending on who it is, because like, I am nominally the bad guy in this situation, but if I'm like stuck in a lift with like Elon Musk and I'm just rocking his shit, I don't feel like I'm the bad guy in this situation.
Mm-mm.
Like,
No. You were
I
not
am-
the
I
bad
am-
guy there.
I am a great person in that situation. Like that man looks like he's got a glass fucking jaw. Like
It's true.
No, that is.
That's
Oh
gross.
my god. Oh no. Oh, I still now just can't get over the idea of like a
Parappa.
Parappa like RPG where you get. I'm like, oh, that would just. I would
Yep.
be so happy. I would.
But yeah,
just...
I want to see more stuff like that. I think they should get wild with it. I think they should get, and it's why I'm like excited for that Bradley the Badger game. Like of all things, like that, when
Yeah.
when that got shown up, I was thinking like, oh shit, they're doing it. They're doing a platformer which is going to be messing around with stuff and getting
Mhm.
weird and meta about it, and all the stuff you could do it is tied to game dev. Being
Yeah.
able to like change the properties and stuff. I'm like, that's really cool. That's really clever. Like. And again, like it being inspired again, the whole thing of like going into different levels which are all inspired by different games like Bloodborne and Cyberpunk and stuff like that, like
Mhm.
really on the nose. And I'm like, yeah, you should do that because they can't fucking do anything to you. They
Yeah.
can't touch you. Those are all just established genres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. They can't touch you. Gothic Victorian London, Cyberpunk City, and Last of Us style zombie apocalypse is like, what are you fucking gonna do?
To Bram
What are you gonna
Stoker,
do?
fuck off.
Yeah. I can do anything.
And you only
Yeah.
have to look at how successful like little indie titles and stuff are about how these
Yeah.
mashups can work. Because as soon as you mentioned Bloodborne there, I'm like, fucking Bloodborne Kart. Like
Yes.
they made a
Yeah.
Mario Kart, but it was Bloodborne, and it is an internet sensation. It is like a little cult classic. I don't even think you can pay for it because obviously that is
Mhm.
copyrighted. So Miyazaki's
Well,
like, "We're not-"
no. You can buy it because they did eventually have to change the name of it. They did get a thing from Sony being like, you can't call it.
Of course, it was
Bloodborne.
from Sony.
You have.
Because
It is. I think it's
Miyazaki
called, like,
would never.
yeah, no, I'm telling you, yeah. So it's like, man, like, but at the end of the day, it still exists, and you can still buy and play, and it's
Yeah.
very good apparently. So yeah, and that's it. Like whenever again, it's the fake games thing and stuff like that, which I really love. A particular YouTuber I enjoy, Super Eye Patch Wolf, has done a couple of videos on like fake games and stuff like that. But one of the things I love seeing is when people are just inspired by like, oh, what would Bloodborne look like as a 8-bit Game Boy,
Yeah.
like original,
Game,
yeah, stuff like that.
There's like a Pokemon, like a fake GBA Pokemon game, but it's Elden Ring, and I'm like, this is sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Stuff like that, or like one of my favorites is a fantastic like 30-second animation where someone was like Dark Souls but Cuphead, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
oh
that.
wow, this is so brilliant! Like what a fun, wacky
Parappa the
idea.
Rapper, but Final Fantasy Tactics, Candy.
Could you? I would be so about it. I would
Yeah.
be so in. He's got to save his little like sunflower girlfriend or whatever she is because she's been
Mhm.
like taken by someone. Like I would be so in. And then you
Yeah.
could join me in a Discord call when I'm like this fucking final fight. And then when I finally get it, and you could be like, I was there. She did it. It happened.
She did it. This is my friend. She's so
Did this.
smart. Like, yeah.
Can you hit the
Give the people
button?
what they want.
Rap into that move, and God died, and credits rolls.
No, I mean his finishing move clearly has to be, a kick punch because it's all in the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Very true.
I still know that
Give
fucking
the
rap
people
song,
what
which
they
is so
want.
disgusting. I think that song is like I will have like Alzheimer's or something and still be able to fucking bust out that rap. It is just so seared into my brain.
Oh.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think that for me that is the Egon speech
Oh.
from Bale's thing.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Air Tree. Because I've listened to it so many times that it's now just it's there. Like I'm like, oh, curse you, Bale. Like I'm like, it just happens in my brain. Normal, like just parts of the day. I'm like, oh no, like.
Unfortunately, I can't remember any like full speeches from games very well. Obviously, like certain tracks of music, definitely, and not even
Mhm.
like, and it's never even like the good, amazing tracks. It's always just like the little jaunty bit that plays in that one little scene. But for whatever reason, your brain's just like, no, this is the one we're gonna remember. The one we just play with just the kazoo, and you had like the massive orchestral epic and the boss fight. Like, no. That kazoo song was banging. Listen to that one in your head on repeat for the next 48 hours.
I mean,
Alright,
listen,
cool.
it could be Prompto running around singing, I want to ride
Oh.
my chocobo.
Oh my god. I did quite. I played 15 when the Royal Edition came out. I did really enjoy it. And I did think it was fun, but I did struggle with Prompto singing a lot. It was difficult.
I actually really like Prompto. I think also like the anime that like came out and like
Mm.
explained more of his backstory.
Yes,
that-
yeah.
Like made a difference, and then the DLC that came out afterwards that also explained more about him. I know it's like controversial with Final Fantasy people. I actually really enjoyed 15. Maybe it was because I felt so starved for a Final Fantasy game, right?
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
really liked it. I mean, to the point where like the first dance song that Sean and I had at our wedding was the Florence and the Machine version of Stand By Me. Like that
Oh, wow. Yeah.
that was our wedding song. When the wedding was over, it was the Final Fantasy music, like the battle went dun 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 dun.
That's
Like,
awesome. That's really
so
cool.
clearly we're Final Fantasy people, and I still
Yeah.
really liked 15. I have not finished 16 because I have a really hard time with 16, more so because I hate the cuts to like the cinematic scenes of them like up against each other, and I'm like, this takes
Yeah.
me out of it. Like
Mm.
at least with 15 the combat stayed pretty fluid, so there wasn't like this like, look at this dramatic scene where we're holding our swords against each other. I'm like, I don't know, something about those moments, and they look cool if I was watching somebody play it. Me actively playing it, I'm like, I'm having a hard time, and I've heard the story is so good. I have to go back and try it again, but for the little bit that I played of 16 that I could stomach, I'm like, I would take 15 over 16. Like, and again, I haven't finished 16, so maybe when I finish the story, like maybe I'll be like the story of 16 over 15, but the play style of 15 over 16, because those scenes kill me.
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from, because it's very different. And again, obviously 16 was the whole kind of like the first one, which is all action-based combat and stuff. So when you're then doing a much more involved and active form of combat, but then still wanting to have those narrative beats in the middle of combat, which would otherwise fit very neatly into a turn-based system where it's just, oh, your menus that were down there, they fade out and now they're going to talk, and it's like, yep, fair enough, I was already just sitting here waiting for my turn anyway, so this changes nothing. Whilst if I was mashing buttons trying to pull off a certain like move to get my Clive to do something, and suddenly it's like now we're going to do this, and it's like,
But what if we had this close-up?
yeah, what if we just did this for a second? It's like, no, don't do that. And in the same way that like I kind of struggled a little bit with the system, as much as I do like the combat system in the Final Fantasy VII remake and Rebirth and all the rest of it. The thing I struggle with most is the fact that you have those narrative moments in the combat, which are cool, and I want those to happen. But it's really frustrating when it's like, I'm going to pull off a limit break attack as Cloud, and they're going to hit them to do a shit ton of damage. What's that? They only needed to have 200 damage taken off, and then they'd hit a cutscene, so that's fucking wasted. Great. Like, I'm thrilled that I've wasted all of that build up with getting a limit break attack to use on this boss, and because now it's a cutscene, it does 200 damage because that's all that was required, and then we'll just go back to the combat afterwards. And it's like, fuck you. At least have the decency to take the rest of the damage off the cutscene for me. For Christ's sake. It's not like I stopped. Yeah, I didn't stop hitting him so he could fucking soliloquy. For Christ's sake,
No, I loved
hit him.
I loved Rebirth, but what really killed me about Rebirth was all the mini games.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
The
I started
minigame
skipping.
fatigue.
I still haven't finished it. I am only up to chapter 11, going into the final act of Rebirth, because I have this very weird thing where once I'm very close to the end of a big game, I kind of get not turned off by it, but I'm almost like reluctant to finish it. And I think it's probably tied into like the psychological aspect of like, once you finish it, you've got to find something to replace it with. So
Spoiler
I've currently
alert,
got like
you don't.
Rebirth.
There's stuff you can
exactly.
do afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. But so,
So go ahead and finish it so we can talk about it, so I can yell. So I could yell, because I need to yell at somebody about how I felt like I felt like the game went from difficulty level like 5, 6 to all of a sudden like 8, 9, and I was like, you sons of bitches, the final fight, I almost rage quit. I didn't. I finished it. But the number of times I had to do the final fight, and the number of times I had to see the same cutscenes over and over, and the number of times that I literally had to walk away from that game for like a good week. I was like, the final fight, I was like, if I wanted a Soulsborne fight in my fucking game, I would play a Souls-like. I don't want this. I was so mad. I like
So it's
didn't
like
touch it
so it's
for a
like let you skip cutscenes just in even mid fight.
so did most of this game until literally this one final fight, and I was like, fuck you, why are you showing me this same thing over and over? Why are you doing this to me? I was so livid.
Miyazaki would never. Miyazaki would never. Like.
So I need one more person to go through that pain. So I need you to finish it
Well,
so that I can then.
I'll finish. Yeah, I'll finish it then, because also now that we've got, obviously now that we know that spring 2027 is Revelation date or time frame, whatever.
Yeah, we have a date,
I'll get it.
or you know,
Yeah,
a
You
window.
can't say that spring 2027 is Revelations. Is that not when we all get raptured or some shit? Like.
Gonna happen.
It better
it's
not,
written,
okay?
It's written in the calendar. Like.
Yeah.
Like-
Who's ready for Revelations, eh?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm here for
Yeah.
it. I'm here for it. I'm ready. I will be overjoyed at what they give us. I mean, nothing's confirmed, obviously, but I have been treating Final Fantasy Remake as if it is a sequel to Advent Children instead of being a true remake. So I want to see how they wrap everything up.
Well, yeah, because again, funnily enough, I as a thing I quite often have on when there's not like a new episode or something to listen to at any of the podcasts, I go back to MinMax, the channel, do deep dives on games, and I always go back to theirs on Remake and Rebirth and Integrate, because one, very funny listening to the group of them talk about it. They're a fun bunch. But yeah, it's listening to all the community questions sent in, pointing out little details and stuff like that. And I was literally listening to it earlier today, and yeah, it's interesting how much of things like Advent Children they've pulled into it, which up until now you kind of assume it's like, no, we don't want to, because it muddies the waters. Not everybody saw it, not everyone liked it, all this sort of stuff. But Nomura being Nomura, clearly it's like, no, like I care about this stuff and I'm going to make it important, and have kind of retroactively thus made Advent Children, I think, more appealing to a fan base that kind of were very like kind of not sure about this. What's this whole business of Sephiroth being three different people and all this kind of jazz? But then they start seemingly leaning into it more in the games, and I'm like, okay, if you could prove to me that this shit was worthwhile, I'll go back on anything I said that was negative in that respect. I like Advent Children. I think it's great fun. One of my favorite things in any animated CGI thing is the Tifa fight in the church.
Yes.
That shot of her poof, onto the wall with the petals from the flowers just falling around her, so like the skirts like spin around. Beautiful, perfect shot, and I just love that fight. I think she's a badass in that. So yeah, I'm very excited for the next entry, but yeah, I will be sure to finish Rebirth so that we can do that. I got to do that. I got to replay
can shout
Control.
at you.
Yeah,
I mean, here's the
why,
thing.
Harry? Why?
I won't be shouting.
Why did you
at-
specifically do this?
The thing is, I won't even be shouting at Harry. It'll just be like, this fucking like look that I got every time in this same stupid cutscene, and boom.
Yeah. Yeah. There we
Okay.
go. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Aerith or Tifa?
Oh, Tifa.
Oh, thank God.
100%.
Oh.
My first, probably my first, well, definitely my first video game crush, quite possibly first ever crush. Like, yeah.
See, I know Sean married me, but you have better taste than Sean.
Oh, did you pick Aerith, did he?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, well,
Wow.
the dress and the combat boots. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, it took one stretch from Tifa after winning a battle. I'm like, I can't not. Damn it, Christ. Like the ultimate girl next door. Yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
This guy gets it. See?
Yeah. But no, I mean, again, and I like what they've done with her character as well. And I think, 7 is such a funny thing, because you look back on it now and you realize it's literally like 12 polygons shaking out of 12 other polygons, and that's meant to be what's happening. You're meant to kind of get all of this from that. And at the time we did, because that's what we were used to. But now, obviously, we have so much more. And so to go back and see these scenes redone and be like, yeah, I got the gist of it. But now they're giving it that much more nuance, or playing with it, as we know with like Remake and stuff like that, where it's like, we're making a clearer point of like Cloud's a unreliable narrator. He keeps telling the stories, and then Tifa's like, that's not what fucking happens. And that sort of thing, which I love. It's great. But yeah, I'm excited. I know they've changed a bunch of stuff by the end of Rebirth, and I've still managed to kind of like keep away from it.
Mhm.
So I'm still expecting like surprises and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to get that done.
So you'll get that done, and then we'll convince Dara to set up a spoiler cast because they're very good about
Yeah.
keeping like people on track with spoiler casts and having like a not a script per se, but like a layout of how to streamline a conversation. So
Yeah, definitely.
we'll-
I've enjoyed
we'll just
listening to
tell
those. So yeah, yeah. I'll
Dara,
definitely-
you're gonna have to do one for Final Fantasy VII leading up to
Yeah.
Revelations coming out.
I'll be up for that, definitely. That'll be really fun. If we do have a remake and rebirth, maybe that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Do like then we can have like a third one for Revelation when after it's out. That'd be
Yeah,
good.
we
I
do
wanna
like
do one.
1 month remake, 1 month rebirth, and then yeah.
Hey,
not
that'd be
not
cool.
me volunteering Dara for work, like having
Yeah, I
no
know, right? Sorry, Dara. Sorry. But yeah, I'd be up for that. I mean, Dara and I were already talking about doing one for Control anyway because of Resonant. I know they're really excited for Resonant as well, so we were like, let's do another one. Let's replay Control and then we can do Control as well.
More spoiler cast, more YouTube content, more things for people to
Yay.
subscribe and listen for.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and again, I do want to do more stuff, and I know we've been doing more interviews, which is really cool. I think that's been really fun and exciting for us to do more things like that. But then, yeah, definitely want to do more YouTube stuff, kind of working out what works best for us as a team because we're all spread across the globe. So, it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. But yeah, we'll give you some more firm details, as it were, in the future, no doubt.
Yeah, as it's ready. And where can they find you, Harry, if they want to speak directly to you? If they're like, I want to follow Harry on social media because he's so cool.
Wow. You need to get your hair checked, mate. No. I am only on Blue Sky. That is the only place you will find me at Knavish Crayfish. So I will spell it out just in case. KNAVISHCRAYFISH. If not, just search Harry Glyn Jones, my full name. That I should show up hopefully on Blue Sky. I am nowhere else though. Otherwise, makes it nice and easy.
What do you mean? You're on gamersocialclub.ca where they can check out
Oh,
all
well,
the news, reviews, and
yeah, no.
guides.
Okay, yeah, no, that's also true. I am also there. You can see all the lovely things that we write there, and all the guides and stuff like that.
And where, if
we do
they wanted to like join a Discord server, is there some place that they could find you on
Just
Discord?
like have my hand out like this, like I'm dragged around like a child. Tell them, Harry. Tell them.
Well, you used to do the podcast, and she never makes me do this because she knows
No.
I'll not be able to do it.
But, exactly. If you want even more content from us, or even just to hang out and play video games with us, and maybe even join in on a little giveaway every now and then, you should come and join the Gamer Social Club Discord. Little growing Discord, bunch of fun people. It's very laid back, and yeah, we have good fun chats, and we do like little watch-alongs and stuff like that. Showcases and all that sort of jazz. So yeah, stop on by.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, Candy?
See, look, but we did it. We got him to be less professional on the pod. You see, we did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bore me down.
Yeah.
I'll do
You
a little
are not-
fun dance for you now, shall I?
You'll not be invited back if you keep being rude to Candy though. Like it's not.
Oh wow!
Like...
Let's sit there and
Like-
take it, Harry.
No, I mean,
It's
I
against the
think,
rules. You're not allowed to be rude to Candy. It's against the rules.
I mean, I think we covered all the bases. If we didn't cover all the bases, Steve or someone will tell us in the comments. Number one fan
Let us
Steve
know.
will tell us.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Tell us in the
Common
comments.
element.
If you made it this far, thank you all for joining us today. Huge shout out to Harry for joining us and letting the professionalism fall just a little bit to have some fun with us. Do make sure to join us in the Discord and catch everything on gamersocialclub.ca. All the links, including where to find Harry on Blue Sky, will be in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave a comment on something that we did that was wonderful, not just something that we may have forgotten along the way. And if you're listening on Spotify, leave that 5-star review because it really helps to get the algorithm to work for us. Harry, you are welcome back anytime. Anytime you're missing
Thank
some
you so
podcasts,
much.
you can come back.
Thank you. I would definitely want to do this again soon, definitely.
Because we'll
Hopefully
also have
planned.
to dive into Final Fantasy IX next time.
Yes. And
I think
bring
I'm away that
I
week.
think I'm busy whatever
Um,
day that is.
Well,
He's
I've
like,
not
"Oh."
played. I've not played Final Fantasy VII either. So if you guys want to geek out about Final Fantasy IX, that's fine. I'll just do something else. Like,
I can
I'll be
pull out all my figurines
I'll
and wear my
be
hat.
playing Slay the Spire 2.
I'll be over here being cool.
No.
We'll have a special
Absolutely.
episode. So Sean keeps offering. He's like, if you need an episode recorded, he's like, I'll be on an episode even if it's just me and you. And he'll just put on a wig. So we'll make Sean put on a wig, and then it'll be me, Sean, and Harry. But Sean will be one of the girls with his wig and his like
Mhm.
fake boobs and everything. So it'll be fine.
We need to get Sean to do his best V impression, and then
Wow.
we can just pretend that Sean is me for the whole podcast, and no one will mention it. Just introduce Sean as V, and just be like, go.
Love
He
it.
already, literally, when we're talking about things, he'll be like, "Oh god damn," the way that you
Yeah.
do. So he already does it.
I did. Candy did send over a short to me that was from a stream when it's Sean saying, "God damn," or as Lady V would say, "Oh god damn."
So it's already happening. So we can absolutely
Love
do
that.
it. So Harry, if you want to come on and just talk Final
Yes.
Fantasy with two people who have played Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
we can make
Candy
it happen.
and me. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah,
definitely
Candy and
me,
V.
Definitely sounds good. I love that.
From us to you, everybody who's listening, thank you so much, and we will catch you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Steve.
Bye. Thanks, Steve. Bye, everyone.